City News on TV Rotorua is proudly brought to you by Rotorua Central.
Kia ora, tonight on City News. Rotorua police are calling for witnesses to a hit and run that happened in the city on Saturday morning. Makatu sisters Casey and Karena Bird are to release their new MasterChef cookbook on Mother's Day, and the Cruets and Chads are hard at work practicing for their upcoming Carols by Candlelight event. Rotorua police are calling for witnesses to a hit and run that happened in the city on Saturday morning. They're investigating a collision between a car and motorcycle at the intersection of Giltrap Street and Byack Street at about 10:25 on Saturday morning. The car, which failed to stop, is described as a grey-coloured hatchback and was last seen driving away from the intersection towards Waterford Street. The motorcycle rider was left with moderate injuries and was transported to Rotorua Hospital. Witnesses to the crash are asked to contact the Rotorua Police or provide information anonymously via Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. MasterChef 2014 winners Casey and Karena Bird were the celebrity guests at last week's Stratosphere opening at Skyline Rotorua. Stratosphere is the new $2 million upgraded restaurant at Skyline and was launched with 200 invited guests. Casey and Karena told City News that they were honoured to be invited to the launch, and the MasterChef pair also said that they've been hard at work on their new cookbook, which would be released in time for Mother's Day next year.
So tonight we're cooking mussels out of the new Tidal Mussel Tank in the new Stratosphere restaurant, so we're pretty excited. Yeah.
And you're excited to be here?
I'm really excited to be back. We've been sort of like all over the country, and it's really nice to be somewhere that's really close to home. So Skyline actually asked us if we wanted to book a hotel to stay in tonight or Rotorua. We're like, nah, I'll drive back to Makatu because I can't wait to wake up in my own bed.
Yeah.
So I hear a little birdie's told me that maybe a book might be coming out soon.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a book coming out soon. And coming out in April next year for Mother's Day. So yeah, keep an eye out for that.
So all our viewers can get it from the usual places?
Yeah, definitely. Paper Plus, Whitcoulls, and hopefully a few other places as well.
Like up here, hopefully they're going to stock it up at Skyline. So.
The Cruets and Chads are hard at work practicing for their upcoming Carols by Candlelight event, with song and music at the fore of the centre's activities. St Chad's manager James Lee says everyone is excited and working hard towards a great performance.
So one of the big things that's coming up soon will be our Carols and Candles, and that's an invite to all the community to come down and share an evening of singing carols with us, and just celebrating the festive period, basically.
The St Chad's Carols by Candlelight evening is on Tuesday, the 2nd of December. In sport tonight, to weekend Baywide cricket and Auto Muay Thai cadets won the Bay of Plenty intercity battle with Rotorua Central at Smallbone Park on Saturday. The home team batted first and were bowled out for 149. And with only 2 rounds left in the Baywide competition, it looks like a 3-way race between Caris Mount Maunganui, Element IMF cadets and Eves Realty Greeton. To your weather update now. Tonight, fine spells with westerly winds and an overnight low of 14. Tomorrow, Tuesday, afternoon fine spells, northwest breeze developing, a high of 23 and a low of 14. And looking out to Wednesday, long fine spells with afternoon showers, westerly change, a high of 22 and a low of 9. And the marine weather forecast for tomorrow, variable 5 knots, westerly 15 knots developing in the afternoon, with waves less than half a metre, and there'll be cloudy periods. Coming up on City News, we're at hospice to find out about the Remembrance Tree fundraiser. Karen Vincent of The Road stage previews some of the summer acts coming to town, and we have highlights from last week's Stratosphere opening at Skyline.
Let's talk remembrance trees down here at Rotorua Hospice with Jan and Sharon. Good afternoon, ladies.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Mel.
Hi. Thank you so much for having TV Rotorua and City News come down and with a quick chat because remembrance trees, it's one of your annual events, yes. Obviously one of your favourites. So let's talk about this. Trees, where do we put them? How many are there? Give us a rundown.
Well, we have 5 trees this year. So for the first time ever, farmers throughout New Zealand are partnering with hospices throughout New Zealand. So they're donating a 7-foot gorgeous tree, and our volunteers will be sitting with the farmer's tree from the 15th of December right through to the 20th of December. However, people can donate and put a special message on the farmer's Christmas tree from
the 24th of November.
24th of November.
It's Monday, actually.
It is, yeah, this Monday. Yes.
Well, you're very spoilt. A lovely big tree like that. And where will it be located?
It will be just downstairs near the entrance. So as you walk in and just turn left near the men's department, I think it'll be sitting there.
Yes,
it'll be
John and his team are really excited, aren't they, Jen? We've met with them a couple of times, and I think it might cost us a few muffins, you know. But
So let's talk about the importance of the remembrance trees.
It's a great way to raise money for us, and we have, as I said, 5 trees, and the other trees are at the Fenton Street Countdown Supermarket, New World Supermarket, and the Coffee Club. At the Redwood Shopping Centre, and the Country Women's Institute ladies at Nongataha, they have their own tree out there as well.
And so how does it work? Because I see in front of us we got a whole lot of remembrance cards that go onto the remembrance trees. And how does this work?
Well, people can, for a small donation or a large donation, we don't mind, whichever one comes first, they can write messages of love to their loved ones that have gone. So Christmas can be a sad time for some people, and especially if you've lost somebody close. So you write a message to that loved one, and then that is attached to a Christmas decoration, and then it's placed on the trees.
And so what time will we start seeing these trees popping up around the place?
As I say, from the 15th of December to the 20th, but today is all about asking your viewers. We need volunteers for the trees. Okay. As you can imagine, it's a week's by 5 trees, so we need quite a few people, and there's a few gaps still, so we need a bit of help there.
And so will it be that the viewers or the volunteers that come along and put their hands up for the job, will they be sitting with the trees? What jobs would they be doing?
Exactly. They sit at the trees, and a lot of volunteers that do help us, so they really enjoy it, don't they, Sharon?
It's a lovely time because they get to talk about their loved ones and things like that. And they always sit in tandem too, don't they, Jen?
Yes,
so there's
do.
always that camaraderie between the 2 volunteers, and they chatter away, and then they chatter away to the people that come in. You know, it's a really lovely time, actually. It's a nice time, I think.
Yeah,
it's one of our good fundraisers.
Yes, and they enjoy getting to meet new people, that's right. And,
And so why do we do this, Sharon?
Well, I think utmost and foremost, as Jen has said, is that this is a time to remember. Christmas is a difficult time for some people, so it is about another way of expressing that love and that loss that they've had, but also from a hospice perspective, it's another way of fundraising for this organisation in a way that's actually involving people that have obviously dealt with the service, or people who've just genuinely lost people in the past, and it's that form of remembering, and it's the remembrance trees. So it is a great fundraiser for us, and since Jean's been here, she's grown this side of the fundraising aspect of hospice largely, actually, and I think this year we're going for broke. We're going for another huge result, and especially with farmers coming on board, that's absolutely wonderful, because you know that's going to run nearly for a whole month, Mel, and as Jan said, that tree's huge. It's going to have a lot of decorations on it, I'm sure. By the end, I think we might have to actually, you know, look at it each day and say, oh gosh, do we need to take a few off and pop them on a little tree somewhere else, you know? Yeah.
Well, you're all doing a fantastic job, and keep up the hard work, and thank you so very much for letting our viewers at home know that their help and our community help is greatly appreciated.
Mel, can I just come back to the remembrance trees, please?
Absolutely.
These messages that are on the desk are from last year, and there's a big box full. They are huge. But we also every year have a memorial service, and this next year's will be, I think, the 1st of March 2015. These are all blessed, and eventually when we get our new hospice, which is in the pipelines, we will do a proper ceremony again where these will all be burnt and then placed in our memorial gardens. So people who do fill out these, rest assured, they are blessed, they are remembered, and eventually they will be placed in the grounds of the new hospice.
And they are looked after. Look, see, all your messages from last year, Rotorua community, they're all here safe and sound and blessed.
Yes,
very good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're very proud of that, and there's some heartfelt messages there, and they are written from the heart from people that actually write them. So we treasure them.
Lovely. Well, thank you so very much, both Jan, Sharon.
Thanks,
thank you
Mel.
so much.
Thank you.
Well, if you're going to be in Rotorua over the summer, namely December, January, February, even March, and you're very musically inclined, well, we've got something lined up for you, or Karen Vincent has got something lined up for you that is very unique and very relaxed. Karen, South African, but you're a Kiwi now, I think it'd be fair to say. You've been in Rotorua for 4 years now. You obviously love the place, but you love music. So for the people at home, what do we mean by Rogue Stage? It's a brilliant title. It's kind of novel, but what do we mean by Rogue Stage over the summer?
The Rogue Stage is something that moves around. It moves with you. So it started off just by something that literally the stage moved around from venue to venue, and it took a lot of energy. So we started off just by having one show a month and putting the stage up, collapsing it again, putting it up.
Very mobile.
Very mobile. So we started to joke about it and say, this stage is Rogue. And then all of a sudden we said, oh, why not call it the Rogue Stage? So that's where that concept started from.
It's a very marketable title too, isn't it, really?
Well, anything with the title Rogue in, I think people stay away because they think, that doesn't sound too appealing. But I think it's grown because people that do come out to the shows, they see that I'm not rogue at all.
Far from it. That's right. But I think that the whole idea from the point of view of the Rogues, that's what you're calling it, but it's a series of concerts involving a lot of different genres, and we'll get into that very shortly. Okay. But the idea for you of putting it all together, and behind us here we can see a framework. It's the framework of a bamboo stage, and by the time I understand that by the time you have your concerts here, it'll be very colourful and it's going to be totally transformed. But the whole idea is to have the concerts here in your own home. I think that's a brilliant idea. Where did that come from?
Because putting the stage up for 16 times, we thought we'll be so tired and just sick of it. So we thought, well, why not just have intimate concerts at home, because it will save us for putting it up and collapsing it. So that's why, really. And when we spoke to the artists, because most of the artists contacted me and asked, hey Karen, I can see you doing something really, really special in Rotorua. We would love to support you. And that's, for me, that's the biggest compliment, that people are the wider community of New Zealand musicians are supporting this drive, because there's actually quite a few of us in New Zealand that's doing this. It isn't just me or Novel to Rotorua. And and then we said, well, will you be okay to play in my house? Yes, of course. And will you be okay to play in the back garden? And they all said yeah. They'd love the idea.
I guess in some ways it's because it's different, and I mean, even from the point of view of people looking forward to coming and enjoying the concerts, people, even in Rotorua, lots of tourist venues, lots of things to do, but people are always looking, aren't they, for something different?
Very much. And people that come once, they come to everyone, to each one if they can. Sometimes I have people that go away. I've had people change their holiday plans just to come, because they we're going to miss it, we can't miss it. So for me, it's so lovely to see that the spark for New Zealand music is alive and well, and people are getting to see bands and people that they probably would not be able to see.
Exactly.
Most of the musicians, they only play in Auckland or they play in Wellington. So
and that would be in places like clubs and things like that, in the smaller gigs and smaller venues, so it kind of suits them. You yourself, I know, and your family are quite musical, so you're off to a good start, aren't you, really?
Oh, I don't know about that. My husband plays harmonica. I play a little bit of guitar. I do not like performing, and that's probably why I like being at the back and leading other people who do it so much better than I can and speak their tales or speak their stories through their music, and that's what I enjoy.
But something like this obviously needs a little bit of an entrepreneurial flair, so maybe that's what you're good at, eh? It's knowing, where your gifts lie, I guess, and your talents and so on. Let's look now at the people that are coming over the summer. I've seen a long list, and there are all sorts of venues, everything from sort of almost jazz to bluegrass and all sorts of that. How easy or difficult has it been to pull them together?
Not at all. Not at all. This has been quite remarkable to me how it just all fell in place. Some of the musicians contacted me about 6 months ago because they realised that this is going to take off and they probably will not get a space to play. Some have just recently confirmed with me, and some wouldn't take no for an answer. So I've had, it's definitely been a mix, and it's very much to do with connections, like musicians, like for instance some of the bands that are coming over from the United States.
Wow.
They are touring in New Zealand and has been connected with me through the Eastern, which is of course is one of New Zealand's favourite country bands.
Hey, congratulations on putting all this together. It is something very different for people, for Rotorua, and I'm sure people will catch on. As you say, a lot of musicians, they don't want to miss out, so they've already kicked the ball off, as it were, in rugby terms. Being a Springbok supporter, no doubt. But thanks for talking to us, and really hope it goes well.
Thank you so much.
Skyline Rotorua launched its new Stratosphere restaurant last week, inviting 200 guests from the hospitality and accommodation sectors. Skyline have spent $2 million upgrading the restaurant and creating an innovative experience, which includes live chefs cooking made-to-order, fresh, delicious cuisine. Skyline New Zealand CEO Jeff Sanderlin says the upgrade of the restaurant was the brainchild of General Manager Bruce Thomason.
The restaurant was probably the last thing in the complex which hadn't been upgraded, and really Bruce Thomason, who's the general manager, he pitched it to the board and said that's what we need, that's what Rotorua needs, so finally got the tick.
And how does the Rotorua Skyline stack up against all the other ones around?
Well, Skyline Rotorua was the original luge, and it's still got more luge tracks and more lift capacity than any other. So it's sort of the home of the luge, and we've launched everything from there. And really we've got Skyline Rotorua and Skyline Queenstown, the two islands, and they're both equally important really. Skyline Rotorua has a lot more of a domestic market, and Skyline Queenstown a lot more of an international market. But together they're a great combination.
And how do you see the future of the Rotorua tourism market?
Right, well, I think if you look around, and I'm going to talk about it later, we've invested a lot here in the last 4 years with zip lines and mountain bike tracks, this restaurant. So, we see it as a very bright future, and we're investing for that.
Skyline Rotorua General Manager Bruce Thomason says the upgrade of the restaurant was something he thought was necessary and comes on the back of some in-depth local research.
The investment required to keep the city vibrant and refreshed. We've been here since 1986, and the company has invested in a number of additions to luge, mountain biking, zip line, jelly belly, market kitchen, and the restaurant is just a natural one that we have to keep ourselves refreshed and keep getting visitors coming back and doing more. And our research said that the city needed a great restaurant, and we wanted to deliver that.
So it's aimed at locals and visitors?
Absolutely, locals and visitors. We're well supported by Kiwis and locals. Our annual pass holders, we have over 12,000 annual pass holders, so 45% of our business is repeat.
Rotorua Mayor Steve Chadwick also spoke to the crowd at the opening, praising the new developments at Skyline. And she told City News that the top-class venue would be a valuable addition to the local hospitality scene.
$2 million. Well done to Skyline and the directors and the board, and it's wonderful. What an asset. We've always been saying we should be building in wood. We are a wood-first town. Here it is. But beautiful, elegant design that actually showcases our city. Look at it out there. This is a great investment. It shows confidence in Rotorua, and we're very thrilled. And good food, elegant dining, a good place to come for a total experience.
So our viewers can have a positive attitude for the next few years?
Oh, very much so. And Crankwork's here next year. Look at it. We can see it. We can feel it. The town's nearly booked out for that. And how exciting is that? And on top of that, Trends is here next year. The local government conference. We're really firmly on the map.
And Destination Rotorua Marketing General Manager Oscar Nathan also agrees that the new restaurant will add value to the Rotorua visitor experience.
It's great having businesses like Skyline because they've got the capacity to reinvest in a destination that lifts everybody. And as people will see tonight, and as visitors that come up over the coming months will see, particularly over summer, there's been a lot of really great investment here, not just in the facilities up here in the restaurant area, but particularly with the Gravity Park. And those are massive hooks that draw people, particularly out of Auckland from a domestic sense, and that's what we need as a city. Yeah.
I mean, all the work you've been doing, it seems to be paying off.
Yeah, we're pretty confident. Kumara never sort of talks about itself, but I think from a domestic marketing regional perspective, we're hitting the milestones we want to. We've set higher ones and we want to keep going. It's not going to be easy, but I think this will be one of the biggest summers Rotorua's had, I would argue, maybe for nearly 10 years.
Also at the launch were 2014 MasterChef winners from Makatu, Karenga and Casey Bird, who were honoured and excited to be a part of the celebration launch.
So tonight we're cooking mussels out of the new tidal mussel tank in the new Stratosphere restaurant, so we're pretty excited. Yeah.
And you're excited to be here?
I'm really excited to be back. We've been sort of like all over the country, and it's really nice to be somewhere that's really close to home. So Skyline actually asked us if we wanted to book a hotel to stay in tonight or Rotorua. We're like, nah, I'll drive back to Makatu because I can't wait to wake up in my own bed.
Yeah.
So I hear a little birdie's told me that maybe a book might be coming out soon.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a book coming out soon. And coming out in April next year for Mother's Day. So yeah, keep an eye out for that.
So all our viewers can get it from the usual places?
Yeah, definitely. Paper Plus, Whitcoulls, and hopefully a few other places as well.
Like up here, hopefully they're going to stock it up at Skyline. So.
A look at some of the stunning cuisine available at the Stratosphere restaurant opened last week at Skyline. If you have a story idea or would like to contact the station, you can call 07 3488 984 or email news@tvirotorua.co.nz. Thanks for watching tonight. From all the team here at City News, for Maria.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
City News on TV Rotorua was proudly brought to you by Rotorua Central.